Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast with your host, Hannah Hermanson, bringing you real-life stories of people who realized their dreams to educate and inspire you to create your legacy of abundance now.
Hey everyone, Hannah here, and I'm so excited today to be hanging out with my friend Paul Tokgozoglu. He is a digital marketer and podcast host. He is involved in a project to revolutionize the education industry using the power of artificial intelligence. 2 years ago, Paul began working as a social media marketer specialized in martial arts and fitness markets. And over time, he's entered into the business coaching and consulting industries, where he has helped entrepreneurs scale their businesses and grow their audiences using paid advertising, organic marketing, and email campaigns. Paul is the host of the Beyond Homo Sapien Podcast, and that is about how emerging technology and opportunities are advancing the species, us, into a new age of human prosperity. We have so much to dive into, Paul. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I was just reflecting. It's funny because right now I'm chatting with you from Wisconsin, which is exactly where I was over a year ago, the first time we had a virtual chat.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle, doesn't it?
It does. But where in the world are you right now?
I'm in Missouri, central Missouri right now, middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Okay. And I think when we talked a year ago, you were in Germany.
Yeah, I was in Germany. I've been in the Army for the past 4 years or so, and I'm getting out relatively soon, probably the next 6 to 9 months. And this is my final resting spot for my career.
Oh, okay, got it.
Middle of nowhere, Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, and it's a good time. It's a good time.
So before we look forward and dive into the future of education and artificial intelligence, I want to just take a little bit of a look back on those 4 years, because you've been moved around the world and you've been working full time for the Army,
right,
while still building your business and quickly advancing your entrepreneurial career. So can you give us a little bit of insight about the lessons learned and chasing all those dreams at one time, and any advice you have for people that are working full-time or traveling while pursuing their dream life?
Yeah. So when I got onto the active duty Army about a little over 4 years ago now, I realized almost very, very quickly that this was not what I wanted to do forever. I was this is not what I exactly want to do with my life. And I was like, well, we'll see how this goes. But I was certainly feeling like, man, this, I signed the wrong contract, perhaps, and before I talk any more shit, because that's not my intent, I'm very grateful for the experience I have. The Army has a ton of opportunity, and it's catapulted me forward, and they sent me to Germany for 3 years. So, there's mostly a ton of gratitude in my soul for everything I've experienced. That being said, I very quickly was like, okay, if I want to have fulfillment in my life, I'm like, I gotta find something to do. I gotta figure out a way to chase what I really am passionate about doing. And at the time, 4 years ago, I didn't know what that was. I just knew that it wasn't this. I was like, it's not what I wanted to do. And I felt honestly, the Army and military in general, 90% of it I've learned is a 9-to-5 desk job. The cool shit that you see people doing, the special forces, the stuff you see on the Army commercials on TV,
video games.
That's less than 5% of the actual military is doing that kind of stuff. The vast majority is just a 9-to-5 job, but you show up every day wearing a uniform and combat boots, and it's exactly the same type of stuff. And so I started to get into entrepreneurship. I started reading a 4-Hour Work Week, Rich Dad Poor Dad, all of the kind of Bibles of entrepreneurship. I'd actually read them in my training. I was doing I was in the school for officers for when you first get into the military. It's like a 5-month kind of academy. And I would sit in the back of the classroom and be kind of vaguely paying attention, but I'd be like reading books, reading like Robert Kiyosaki and Tim Ferriss, and everyone thought I was crazy, but you know, I was like, I don't know. I just felt like this is what I needed to do. So for a while, I just kind of studied for about like a year and a half. I just studied. I listened to tons of podcasts. I listened to Joe Rogan like crazy. I still do. I listen to Tim Ferriss. I listen to Aubrey Marcus. Just a lot of like entrepreneurial folks that I looked up to. I started listening to all their shows, reading their books, et cetera, et cetera. And I just felt like I had to do something, but I had no skills. And this is kind of what I teach people. Like, I had no skills at the time. I was a philosophy major in college, and then I had the military, which is not exactly applicable for business, you know, or like starting a company. And but I could talk. I love talking, and I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And that had been my passion. That's still one of my main passions in life, is jiu-jitsu. And it had been a huge passion. I've been doing it for like 4 or 5 years at that point, at this point in our story. And so I was like, okay, I can start a podcast, because I listen to lots of podcasts and I love podcasting. So I was like, I can do a podcast about jiu-jitsu. And so that's what I did. I started the Matrix Jiu-Jitsu podcast about 2 years ago, and I started getting into the podcast world. And what I didn't realize, Hannah, and this is like what I tell people about, is that it wasn't the podcasting that would end up making me actual money and actually becoming some sort of a real business. It was the skills that I learned while I was podcasting. Because when you start podcasting, there's all of these skills around it. And when you start anything, when you do a YouTube channel, a blog, whatever it is, there's all these skills that go along with it. So I was podcasting every week. But what I was really learning was I was learning how to market, you know, because I was learning how to get people to listen to the show. I was learning about social media marketing, like Instagram and Facebook and all this other stuff. And even like using Reddit to promote the show and stuff like that, you know. I was learning how to get the word out about this podcast. And we started a YouTube channel too around the show. So I started doing it with a friend. And so I started to learn YouTube and how that all works and how to create videos. And suddenly I had all these skills, you know what I mean? And I was still doing this all part-time, but it quickly became something that was like a skill generating platform, if that makes sense.
Yes, I love that. And I can relate so much to what you're saying, in that we start out following something we love so often. Like, okay, I can talk and I like martial arts. And like, for me, it was, I can talk and I can help people. Like, I had this coaching skill set. All right, so let me just start doing that. But then I think everyone realizes that it doesn't matter what you're doing, the service you're providing, if people don't know about it.
Yeah.
So that's really what's inspired me to take this specific direction I'm taking now, which is helping entrepreneurs simplify their marketing plan, because it's so key to sustaining any business or continuing the success. Because as nice and warm and fuzzy as it feels to just do what you love, people got to know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something that stuck with me. Like, in those early days when I was just listening to podcasts, I found a show called Barbell Business, which is still out there. It's really dope. It's geared towards gym owners and stuff like that, and teaching gym owners how to do business and stuff like that. And it's really great. And a quote from that show that really stuck with me was, they were saying, marketing should be the number one priority of every business. And marketing, they said, every business is actually a marketing company in one form or another. Because if no one knows about you, then you have no business.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you put it much more succinctly and powerfully than I did. But yeah, every business is a marketing business. Yeah. So let's dive into a little bit of that, and then I do want to definitely talk to you about education and all the momentum you've got going and that aspect of what you're doing.
Yeah, sounds good.
So now you've transitioned from working with gym and fitness organizations, and now you're working with entrepreneurs. And what do you find yourself, like, if there was an Alexa following your career, what would she hear or pick up on the most? What do you feel like everyone needs to know about marketing themselves?
So lately, I work with a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, like spiritual coaches and healers has lately been the folks that I've been helping a lot lately.
Oh, we love the woo-woo.
Oh, me too. I'm a huge woo-woo fanatic. And that's what I go into on my show a lot these days. And I would say that two things. First of all, for those who are just getting started, I've got this thing that I'm creating this theory that I want to make public. I'll call it the viral video fallacy. I'm big on logical fallacies and philosophy. It's this idea that you're just it's this thing that holds people back, this fear that they're going to make a YouTube video or a podcast and suddenly every single person they've ever met is going to hear it or listen to it or watch it. I see so many people that I'm working with and I tell them listen, start a YouTube channel. You've got a great personality for that. It's easy. I'll show you the basic steps how to do it. Or start a podcast. You got a great voice for it. I'll show you how to do it, blah, blah, blah. And they don't do it because they're afraid. They're afraid that every single person in the world is going to hear it. And they're so nervous to put it out. It has to be perfect. They're like, oh my God, the audio quality has to be perfect. I spend all day fucking editing it when really you just got to push it out. Just don't even worry about editing it too much, especially in the beginning. Just get it out there. Just start building your audience. People don't care that much about the perfect audio quality and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? But people don't do it because they want it to be absolutely perfect because they pretend that every single person in the world is going to hear this thing or watch this video and it's going to go absolutely viral. And this is they have this, it's this fallacy where they think oh, I'm going to make 5 videos on YouTube and suddenly they're all going to go viral. Everyone's going to see them, and they have to be perfect. And it's no, that's not what's going to happen. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a consistent and sustained effort of putting out content every single day for months before pick up some traction. And that's just how it works. And what I tell people is listen, but you're not going to go viral. Some of your content or whatever it is you're doing is not going to go viral. Everyone's not going to see it until it's really fucking good. And a bunch of people are like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to send it to everyone. You know what I mean? You hear what Hannah said on her latest show. It was so good, and then you're going to be ready because it's not going to go viral till you're ready, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'm so grateful. A mentor told me early in my entrepreneur career when I was getting caught up in that perfectionism mentality of oh, I'm not going to put myself out there until I'm this, and this. And they told me, I want your first few videos and freebies and Facebook Lives to embarrass you.
Oh yeah.
If you're not embarrassed by the beginning, you aren't growing, right?
You
and
we should too long.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. So that's kind of thing number 1 that I always hear. And thing number 2 is from those who are creating courses. They have a similar thing where a lot of the folks, they're creating a coaching offer or a course or something along those lines. And what they do is they spend forever. It's very similar. They spend forever trying to create the perfect course or the perfect offer or something like that. And they forget to actually go and talk to people and talk to their audience and see what it is they actually want. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they spend money, they build out a website, they build out a funnel, all this shit without ever actually talking to people. And then they go and they try to sell it to people and they find oh, wait a second, no one wants this. I never did any customer research. I never talked to people. So talking to people is huge. It seems kind of it seems like a duh moment when you get to it, but it's something everyone misses. Is just you gotta talk to people. When you're creating your products or your free lead magnets, ask your audience, ask people. And if you don't have an audience, just go ask 20 of your friends. And say, hey, what's the problem you have? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? If I put out a free ebook about blah, would that be interesting to you? And they might say yeah, or they might say no. For example, I'm designing a free lead magnet right now for myself that's going to be around overcoming limiting beliefs. And I asked my audience just the other day on Facebook, I said, hey, what's the hardest part about overcoming limiting beliefs? Because I wanted to know, like, okay, what should I put in this guide? And every single person, well, not every, but like 90% of the people who answered were like, realizing you have them in the first place is the hard part. And for me, I was like, oh, that's it. Like, I was trying to take it a step further of like, okay, you have your limiting beliefs, you know what they are, how do you overcome them? But now I'm like, oh shit, no, my guide needs to be, how do you even find out what they are? You know what I mean? And if I hadn't asked that question, I would have put out the wrong product.
Absolutely. And it's so easy now. Like you've mentioned so many platforms that we can be engaging people, we can be getting real-time feedback. And I want to go back because that makes so much sense to me when you're making a new freebie or something that you want to use as a lead magnet. Now, I have a pretty strong belief about creating courses that I want to see where you land on this. So I coach my clients, and I tell anyone that asks me that you don't create a course until you have a handful of one-on-one clients, because I've seen too many people create a course that, like you said, nobody wants. And I see the people who get one-on-one clients, it's simple. It's like, oh, this is exactly the 10-step process my clients have been telling me. So I know some people don't love the like one-on-one model, but what is your thought on starting out there? Even if it's just like 8 one-on-one clients and then being clear or like learning while getting paid from those clients, what you need to turn around and start creating.
No, I love that. I think that's perfect. I think that's great. And, that's certainly where I'm looking to go for my, business and everything. Because first of all, you have to understand, like, you do definitely have to know what you're talking about, obviously. And that's something that seems to get lost a lot these days in the digital world, is like that you do have to know what you're doing, and I found that like before you're going to help like sell a course, which hopefully you're going to sell to hundreds and thousands of people, you got to get really good at helping 5 people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or 3 people, or however many clients you get in the beginning, before you can go and say, hey, here's my system that works for my clients. I've been using it with one-on-one clients for a year. Let's go and put this into a course and sell it to the world, but you don't know if that actually works until you have clients. And that's also a great way for selling that course, getting into the marketing side of the house and the sales side of the house, is when you are trying to see, okay, how much can I charge for this course? If you have clients that are paying you $5,000 a month or something crazy like that, or even less, like $1,000 a month or something along those lines, and you say, hey, this is the course, this is the exact information that I give to my one-on-one clients. They're paying me $5,000 a month. But for you in this course, you get it for $500 or something like that. But you won't be able to charge $500 or $1,000 or however much you want to charge for your course if you don't have people who are already paying you more money for one-on-one coaching. It makes your course more valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're totally on the same page. And I want to just come back to this point you were making earlier, that every business is essentially a marketing business. And like you're saying, though, you still need a skill. You still need to be helping people.
Oh, yeah.
But guess what? Like customer service and the results you can help people get, that's still marketing, right? Like you're saying, you can use those testimonials. You can show your value. So not to be, entering your service-based business with this, mindset of I'm just here to market and earn money, but remembering that those results lead to more results when you help people.
Oh yeah, for
Good
sure.
Stuff. All right, we are going to flip the script a little bit here and dig into the other aspect of the conversation I want to have with you today. So, Paul, how are you using artificial intelligence to revolutionize education?
So now we're getting into a master plan. Take over the world plan. So
from the nitty gritty to the big here.
Hell yeah! I'm working. I founded a company with some other folks called Excelsior Industries, which is a software company that what we're doing is we're developing emerging technology. And we want to eventually be getting into blockchain and virtual reality, but especially artificial intelligence. And So what we're doing is we're creating a learning platform similar to Netflix, but for online education. So here's the thing about artificial intelligence. Whenever I say that word, people think of the Terminator and fucking robots and Boston Mechanics and all this craziness, but they forget that most artificial intelligence, and I think that the correct application of artificial intelligence is stuff that makes our lives easier. And it's stuff that we use every single day. Like Facebook is an AI. It's a recommender. It's a recommender is something that learns what it is that you like and then shows you more of that. YouTube is the same way. Google is the same way. Netflix is the same way. Amazon, same thing. They're all, anytime you hear the word algorithm, you can replace that with AI or recommender. A recommender is a type of artificial intelligence, basically. So that's what we're trying to create, is a recommender for online education. And here's kind of what we're trying to do more specifically. So right now, you can learn anything you want online for free. Like really fucking anything in the world is out there for free. You can become a master at all of it. However, if you, Hannah, are a beginner, a total beginner, and you want to learn something new, you don't know who's credible. Like let's say that you want to learn digital marketing. You could go to YouTube and type in, and you're a total beginner. You could go to YouTube and type in digital marketing or Google, and you would get a million results. And you as the beginner, you would have no clue who's credible or who actually knows what they're talking about, because you don't know. The only thing you know by who's at the top on YouTube or Google is all you know is they're an expert in search engine optimization.
Yes.
Getting to the front page of YouTube or Google. Does not mean that they actually know what they're talking about when it comes to digital marketing in general. And that's why people hire coaches and buy courses and go to college and fucking everything, is they want to know what's the real information, what's the real shit. So what we're doing is we're basically creating a recommender that will bounce you around the internet to the most credible resources for whatever it is you're trying to learn. And we'll show you mostly free stuff, but we'll also give you book recommendations, course recommendations, introduce you to coaches that might be best for you, and so on. And folks ask me whenever I talk about this idea, they're like, "Oh, so you're like Udemy, or you're like Linda or something like that." And no, what we're doing is we're saying, no, we will show you the best course on Udemy for whatever it is you're trying to learn. And then when you're done with that course, we're going to take you to the best video on YouTube that will complement that. And then we'll show you the best documentary on Netflix that also fits into this puzzle. And then we'll take you to Amazon and show you the best book for what it is that you're looking for. And it becomes this like path of learning is what we're calling it, where it's like a curated course almost. So like a mega course, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I'm so excited about what you guys are doing, because whether you are a stay-at-home mom, a school teacher, or an entrepreneur, how many times are you frustrated with the searching that you're capable of doing at your, whether you want to ask Google a question or freaking Alexa, she never knows what I'm trying to get to. And then I also think that there's so much potential for folks to not just get an answer, but to continue that learning and investigate more than just like, oh, Google it and assume that's the end all be all.
And it's certainly not. And so what we want to do once this is developed is we're going to use this to replace curriculums in schools, because think about it. Like the only thing that is preventing schools from like the thing about schools these days, they're teaching the wrong shit. They're teaching outdated information.
Over 100 years old. We've been doing the same thing. Like, yeah,
exactly. It's crazy. And what's holding them back is the curriculum. And teachers, like I know you have some teachers listening to this. My sister's a teacher. She teaches middle school. The majority of her time is spent working on the fucking curriculum instead of teaching. The teachers should be worried about developing the students, helping them when they get stuck, answering questions, helping them become better people, learn correct ways to behave, so on and so forth. They don't need to be fucking worried about the curriculum. We want to have basically an automated curriculum with the most up-to-date and best information. And then the teacher can basically facilitate that learning and help the kids or the students or whoever it is basically, apply that information, help them if they get stuck, stuff like that, help them if they have a question. And of course, the teacher should obviously also be an expert so they can add in their 2 cents as well. Like they can certainly incorporate this into their already planned class. But we're just saying you don't have to develop a curriculum. We will do that for you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to partner with other schools that are a little bit more forward thinking. It's probably going to be a minute until this makes its way into the public school industry. However, we can start partnering with Montessori schools or private schools that are a little bit more forward thinking. And we are also going to be developing our own university. We're going to start at the university level. And we're going to be producing first an online university, and then we're going to expand into a physical location over the next few years. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to run classes that are taught on this platform, but combined with teachers and coaches. So we're not trying to displace or put teachers out of work by any means. We're basically just trying to make their lives a hell of a lot easier so they can focus on the actual teaching and student development.
Yes. We've talked a little bit about this. It's been a minute since you've updated me on where the project is going. And every time you talk about it, I hear more passion and more clarity. And I know that there is so much energy behind this. And
thank you.
As we're talking about, not giving teachers more work to do or discrediting them, it's about really aligning what students are learning with what's happening outside of that bubble of, the public or traditional school system.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's definitely very exciting. And it's one of those things, Hannah, I feel like if people ask me people have asked me how long is it going to take? And it's one of those things where it's I honestly don't know. Our platform is going to be ready relatively soon. And we already have a working beta as a Facebook chatbot that people can go play around on. But the actual platform will be ready probably in the next few months. And it's one of those things that it could take off and people could grab a hold of it. And suddenly we have a whole new education industry, and that's really what I want to help facilitate. Because one of the things I believe is that the only thing that's holding us back collectively is our decision that things need to be this way. It's just this collective choice that we're making that says, oh, hey, the world has to be the way that it is. So not only am I trying to put out these new technologies and new ways of doing things, but also I want to try to promote this idea that the only thing that's holding us back from implementing these systems, and not just the platform I'm developing, but platforms, everything about the future, everything about where we're headed as a species. It's the only thing holding us back is just people not applying it, not doing it. You know what I mean? It's all right there.
Right.
We just have to take it and say, hey, we are tired of the way that we've been educating our kids, where we understand that it's no longer the industrial age and we need a new way of doing things. Let's do it. And it could be that simple, or it could take years of trying to get this, implemented.
Well, when you first mentioned that people are asking you, how long is this going to take? That's a question I get on lots of different projects. And I often respond, it's happening now, right?
Yeah.
You can choose to believe that this is it's happening. The evolution has started. We are making changes. It has been developed. And I think if you're going to look at a journey, whether you're just trying to start your own business, you're trying to revolutionize an industry, there's no end point. And so, I think that mindset you have, that is this is a journey. This is going to be constantly evolving, and you're so obsessed and excited and in love with the process that is, this is guaranteed to become something.
Well, thank you.
And I think it's that mindset, or that belief or that acceptance that it's a lifelong journey. And,
Oh yeah.
Moving from whether you have a 9 to 5 or you're used to just project-based working, you got to be obsessed with the whole process and see it as limitless, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing is like these days, honestly, I'm just having so much fun. Like I love podcasting. I love working with clients. I love everything we're doing with this project and other projects that I'm involved in. I just love it all. It's really fun, and that's...
Oh, it's like your dream life is your real life.
I know. Who would have thought? And, it's fantastic. And I'll be... Yeah, life is great, honestly. Like I'm at a state right now where it's like, man, I'm just having so much fun. I'm stoked for all the goals to be realized, but like you said, it really is a matter. And again, getting into kind of the hippie woo-woo talk about the law of attraction, like you got to understand, like when you're talking about the law of attraction, the whole concept is like you get more what you already have, what you already are. So if you want your goals to be achieved, if you want these things to happen, don't think in terms of like, oh, someday I will be successful or someday I'll be happy. And I'm trying to attract that, because you're never going to reach that, because ultimately all that we have right now, the only time that exists is this moment right here. This is it. There is no, from the point of the law of attraction and all of that type of stuff, this moment right here where we're sharing this right now, to having this chat, this is all that exists, so you have to be happy here and now. Right now is where you say, no, my goals are happening now. My goals are achieved right now. Yes. And then you attract more of that.
Paul, now we're going down our our woo-woo path. I'm going to have you back sometime so we can just dig into angel meetings and the law of attraction and all of the
I'm down anytime.
Energetic hacks. I know. And I know your podcast digs into a lot of these topics. So hopefully listeners can, learn more from you over there on the Beyond Homo Sapien show.
Absolutely.
Time is flying, and since we are talking so much about education, I want to move us into the pop quiz round. Are you up for it?
I'm so down.
All right, just 3 more questions for you. And you've shared so many tangible action steps and resources, but I really just want to get your top exercise. What is one thing you wish everyone would go and do right now, today, to get closer to their dream life?
Are you talking like a physical practice or mental or anything?
Just something we can do today with what we have. Be a recommender.
Oh my God. Yeah. So much, Hannah. I would honestly say if there's one thing, I would say take care of your body. Take care of your body. That's the most important thing, to be honest. Like you will, from my experience, a person will never have the goal, the life that they want, the goals that they want to achieve will never be realized if they're not taking care of their body. So that means staying hydrated, I drink a ton of water. I got my gallon jug of water right here on this table as we're chatting, and I'm sipping it as we talk. I drink a ton of water, meditate, go for walks, prioritize that stuff, do some exercise, do some yoga, I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's like one of my favorite. I'll be going to jiu-jitsu practice in like 2 hours. So like always, even when you're so fucking busy, like those are the most important things, honestly, is like for you to achieve your goals is certainly just take care of your body, meditate, drink water, eat the right food, find the diet that works for you, and make all that stuff like a number one priority.
Yeah. Prioritize your health, people. I think it's interesting. A lot of health coaches I work with will talk about, it's great to have all these big, ambitious goals, want to revolutionize education, want to earn a lot of money. But if you don't have your health, you really only have one goal, and that's to be healthy.
Oh, yeah.
So Absolutely. Take care of it so that you can keep doing everything else. Yeah.
And that's when the big ideas happen, honestly, is like on a walk. It's like the big epiphanies and life-changing moments where you realize your passions and what it is you want to do with your life and how everything fits together. That doesn't come 8 hours into a crunch session as you're fucking sitting at your computer typing and working on your Facebook ads and writing emails. Like, no, that happens when you're out in nature on a walk with your buddies and, you know, drinking or like meditating or doing yoga or something. You know, that's been my experience, is like, it doesn't happen when I'm fucking knee deep in work. It happens when I'm on a walk or out in nature or something like that.
Same. I appreciate nature. I usually kind of get caught up in like gratitude and I don't know, but I find that the shower and an airplane have been just like inspiration centrals for me.
Airplanes are huge.
Yeah, and you have nothing else to do.
Get into this hippie woo-woo thing. It's like you're closer to heaven. You know, I truly believe that you're closer to space. You know, you're closer to I don't know, you're closer to some sort of higher frequency, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You're more energetically open. Mm-hmm. That's what I found.
I have a trip to China coming up, so I'll get lots of
hell yeah.
Yeah, get lots of time to do that.
Good journaling time.
Yeah. And anyway, I digress. Let's go to question number 2. Let's finish this pop quiz. If you could give every listener a tangible gift, like hand them a resource that has changed your life, what do you want everyone to have? What would you give?
I would say there's a book that fucking changed my life when I was about 19 called An Iron Will. An Iron Will. I got it right here on my bookshelf. It's by
you guys, if you ever watch Paul, he's so funny. He literally like pulls things out. Like, no, really, I've been like reading my angel cards. Like, no, really, I have this book. He's the real deal. So, all right.
Thank you. I try to carry my bibliography with me. But, no, I got it right here. It's called by Orison Swett Marden, An Iron Will. And it's actually quoted in at the opening of Tony Robbins' book "Awaken the Giant Within," which is also right here. And An Iron Will. It's free on Kindle, free on Amazon Kindle. You can buy it. You can get it now. Download it now. It's short. It's one of these like books from like the 1920s, and it's just a fucking Bible of like mindset and how to just enforce your will. It basically goes through and analyzes great people from history, whether it's Napoleon or Benjamin Franklin or just Harriet Tubman or all these fucking people who we learned about in history books. And it analyzes the willpower that they had and their mindset and just how you can apply that. And again, it's really short. It's like 100 pages, free on Kindle. An Iron Will. And it's so fucking powerful.
Amazing. Good stuff. Final question, Paul, is where can people stay connected with you and learn more about what you're doing?
So go look up the Beyond Homo Sapien Podcast. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or if you'd rather watch video, we're on YouTube, Twitch, and I do stream live on my Facebook page. But really, like YouTube or the podcast, probably the best place to look up the Beyond Homo Sapien Podcast. Or you can just go to beyondhomosapien.com, which is relatively new, and I'm building out that website now. It's going to have everything on there in one place, including the blog, which I'm currently working on, and I'm stoked about that. So beyondhomosapien.com or Beyond Homo Sapien Podcast, for sure.
Yeah, we'll make sure there are links to that. And I just want listeners to remind themselves that you have as many hours in the day as Paul does. And to hear all that you have going on and the energy and the passion you have is just such an inspiration. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing so much of your wisdom and your light and your energy with us today.
Anytime.
Yeah, we always
thanks for having me.
Continue the conversation for sure.
Hell yeah.
So listeners, we'll be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help make your dream life your real life. Until then.
You've been learning how to make your dream life your real life with Hannah Hermanson. To get the resources mentioned on today's show and to listen to past episodes, visit www.dreamlifeisreallife.com.